Welcome to the HEX 27 press conference. Tomorrow night live at the Melbourne Pavilion to a sold out crowd of over 2,000 people. We've got some killer fights in store for you guys. First of all, the first title fight of the night is Raja Shippen and Cody Haddon for the interim bantamweight title. Cody Haddon finally making his HEX debut against the veteran Raja Shippen, who's had some of the best knockouts ever on HEX. The co-main event is an interim title fight between Sam Kikembo and Abdallah Biada. Both boys are great prospects, and Sam taking this fight on a week's notice, stepping up. Then in the main event, we've got the heavyweights going at it for the undisputed gold. We've got the interim champ Randall Raymond, who had a great win back in November against Greg Hearn, and we've got Ricky Beechin, who makes his second title challenge. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. Mitch, first question.
And Raja Shippen, first fight in, I believe, 3.5 years. Talk us through just how hard those 3.5 years were and how excited you are to get back in there.
It was a mix between hard and not hard. I mean, it was good because I got to focus on my team, help my boys get ready for their fights, and I was still involved in, obviously, the sport and helping them grow, which in turn gave me better training partners. But it is a little bit hard at the same time, just watching how good everyone else has done and having to kind of sit back. So I'm just hoping with this fight I can do everyone proud and kind of take the same route they did, you know, with good performances and just all in all, a good night.
How much have you wanted the Sean Douchy fight? You've talked about it for many, many years. Are you disappointed that it ends up being Raja, not Sean?
Nah, I'm super excited. To be honest, it's just hard to get a matchup in Australia in general. Raja was looking for a fight. I was desperately trying to get a fight. He accepted the fight. I accepted the fight. That was it. I'm not really thinking about Sean. My focus is on Raja. Whatever Sean's doing, I'm not really concerned. We'll see how it goes on Friday, and then after that, I'll see what's up.
And you've talked about this fight card in general. It's almost like everyone gets along. Is it nice to go up against a guy when there's no animosity?
I mean, to me, either way, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, he's going to try to punch my head and I'm going to try to punch his. So it doesn't really, the animosity doesn't really matter too much. We both have jobs to do and we're going to get them done. Obviously, when you don't like someone and you get to hurt them, it's a little bit better. But, I mean, job's a job, fight's a fight.
Talking about that frustration, you've spoken about that before, about finding difficulties, people deciding to fight you. Being able to fight for an interim title, almost locking you into your next fight after this, is that almost freeing?
Yeah, man. I mean, it all depends on how it pans out, you know. So I try not to think about what's going to happen in the future. I'm honestly just focused on Raja. I know I have a big task ahead. You know, it's a big test. He's had a lot of experience, and I respect the guy. He's a phenomenal fighter. And yeah, it's just for once you get to see two guys who just say yes, you know, no dodging and none of this bullshit. Just, he wants to fight, I want to fight. All right, we both can't get matched up. Let's do it, you know. That we need more of that in Australian MMA.
Raja, you touched on it before. This is coming back after a layoff. Are you someone who believes in the ring rust thing, or is that not even something that's playing on your mind?
I don't know if it's ring rust or it's nerves. It's usually one or the other. But for me, I think once I get going, I'm kind of hard to deal with, to be honest. So I think I'll be fine. Like I said, I train with a bunch of killers at my gym. We have the top featherweights there. So I think once it gets cracking, it'll be good, you know? I know a lot of people give Cody credit, which I do as well, because people don't seem to want to fight him, but HEX gave me the opportunity. I'm not going to fucking be like, no, fuck it. We'll run it, see how it goes.
And back to Cody, do you feel like you are the betting favourite going up against Raja Shippen? Because I feel like a lot of people are leaning your way and they're only ever talking about Raja Shippen might catch you with a spinning elbow or something. Do you feel like there's pressure on you to take care of this fight early?
No, I don't feel like there's pressure on me to take care of it early or nothing like that. I mean, the guy's had so much experience, so yeah, I feel like he deserves the respect. So to be honest, I haven't really noticed people from what I've seen, it's been more like 50-50, like online and stuff like that. But it's good to have people believing in me. That's awesome as well. But yeah, no, I feel like it will be a good contest. You know, of course, he's very dangerous. But yeah, I think that I think it'll be a good fight, and yeah, we're both meant to fight each other at this point.
Are you feeling any nerves?
Telling Mitch, I'll tell you how it is. I think everyone has nerves. People just hide them differently or don't be honest with themselves. I'm honest with myself, but I've had a lot of fights. So I know when the shit kicks off and we start fighting, you don't really have time for the nerves. The nerves is like in the bag. For me, it's like walking in front of the crowd, because that's just how I've always been like that. Whether I've had 6 fights in a month, 1 fight, 2 years, whatever it is, I get nervous but once those first couple punches get thrown, there's no nerves. You can't really have nerves. You just gotta rely on fucking what you got and fighting the dude in front of you.
Is it pressure? I mean, I know that you've talked about it and you say that it's just your journey and taking it step by step, but everyone since you were 6 has been on your back about making it to the UFC or making it to the next level.
Yeah, to be honest, I felt that the most with my first pro MMA fight. In general, that was when I felt those feelings more so, like, fuck, my whole life has been to eventually go pro and win. Like, if I'd lost, it'd be like, what the fuck was I doing my whole life? Why was that even, you know what I mean? So, now I just feel like I'm going to turn 25 this year. If I'm going to do anything big in my life, it's definitely going to be now, and time is now. And you got to risk it to get the biscuit, I guess, right? You can't just wait around and, a lot of these guys will wait around and go, oh, I don't want to fight him because I might lose or I might this and that. It's like, well, fuck, you'll be when you're 40 or however old you are and you're not able to do it anymore, you'll look back and regret it. So I just don't want to regret anything. And I don't feel any pressure. I feel like, I'm in the right place at the right time. And, I feel like this is the start of, the start of the next step for me in my career.
You haven't had a fight in so long, but that's not for lack of trying. That's not, you've been out, you've been training, you've been getting booked and things just kind of fall through.
Yeah.
And even though you have that experience, you are now closer to a fight than you have been in the past 3 years. And even though you have been here before, was there anything about the whole experience that you almost forget and coming back to, like emotions that are coming back after being gone for so long?
Yeah, like obviously you have to get through camp. That's a big part for me. Like I got injured in my last fight, same as Cody. But the emotions are still the same. I know what they feel like because I get the same emotions when my teammates fight. Like I get the nerves in the back. I get the wanting them to succeed the same way I want myself to succeed. Like Sim said, like the thing we have at the gym, like it's passed down from Simon. We all want good and the same for each other. It's not like, oh my God, fuck, I hope this comes. It's like we all want each other to win and grow. So the same nerves I get when I'm like, fuck, it's the same nerves I get if Sim fights. It's the same nerves I get if Jack fights. It doesn't change. So I felt the nerves before.
Talking about that next step and that comfortability, there is that constant talk of making it to the UFC, making it to the highest levels of the sport, but that doesn't obviously happen overnight. To be in this game for so long, since you're 6, and now to be fighting for a title, like what does that feel like?
Well, as I said to Mitch before, it's not the official title, it's the interim belt, which is cool. I would much rather the actual belt, but amongst all of that, man, like I don't really look at belts and all of that. I mean, going 5-5s, that would be a cool experience, right? Because you get to have that experience before you get to the big leagues. That's something that's really good about it. But belts aside, I'm not really bothered, man. To be honest, I just need to get fights, and I know that if I'm active enough, then I can't not, go to the bigger leagues. If I just, honestly, my biggest thing is just getting to the fights injury free. And, when I'm in there, my performances always, speak for themselves. So it's just a matter of like stringing them together. So one fight at a time. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens after this fight.
You've expressed before about difficulty getting booked, basically people not wanting to fight you. And I can absolutely understand that can lead to a sense of dread of what's coming next. when you're fighting for an interim belt, is that almost a secure feeling, knowing I win this fight, I know what's coming next?
So like I was getting the bookings, like they were just not for lack of trying. They were trying, they were getting me everything that I need, but just one thing happened, and now we're finally here. Yeah, I'm stoked, to be honest. Like I'm stoked to get back in there. I'm stoked to fight in front of all the fans in Melbourne and beat Cody, fight Sean. I'm fucking good with that. I don't have a problem with it.
Talking about making it to the cage, you know, safe and sound, you've obviously, a fight fell through before this. How does it feel to be back after nearly a year?
Oh man, it's yeah. I feel it's so good when I have a fight locked in. I just feel like so much more complete, you know, because I really do believe this is my purpose and this is what I'm here to do, and it is my destiny to fight people. So yeah, man, I can't wait. I mean, you know, you get nervous and shit like that. Everyone gets nervous. People who say you don't, you know, they're talking shit. Everyone gets nervous, but hey, like I said, I'd rather be doing it than not, you know. So yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, it's been a long time, like you said. I think 10 months, and it was actually here my last fight as well on Rogue. So yeah, I love Melbourne. So yeah, I can't wait. It'll be sick.
Raja, just from your personal opinion, who do you think is the tougher fight, Sean Gauci or Cody Hammond?
I don't know. I think they bring different problems. I would reckon Cody, because he's in front of me. I've trained once or twice with Sean. I'm not really sure what Sean's doing at the moment, like whether he's going to continue to fight at bantam or he might go to featherweight. But I think Cody's probably the toughest fight in Australia, to be honest, at the weight class. That's why people avoid him, you know? I think he has good boxing, good wrestling, just got his black belt. And like the kid said, everybody's fucking ducking him. So I reckon he's probably the toughest fight.
Well, talking about that, if I'm not mistaken, your last fight was your first fight interstate.
Yeah.
How is it fighting, you know, away from home?
Well, I've always done it with boxing, so yeah, I've always gone on trips since I was a kid for the nationals and stuff like that, which was always like, you know, stressful time, especially as a kid. You know, you're in school and all this shit. So yeah, no, it's fine. It doesn't make a difference for me. I mean, it's a bit nicer maybe being at home, but you know, just because you got your own bed and all this shit, but. Yeah, no, it doesn't change at all. You know, I like I said, I love Melbourne. So if they want to keep flying me back here, I love this place. So yeah, keep flying me back. All good.
And everyone talks about Cody Hammond's overall skill. And they seem to be talking about your flashy knockouts. Do you feel like they overlook you or have they forgotten what Raja Shipping can do?
A bit. Some people might. You know, my team obviously believes in me and I believe in myself. But yeah, people are gonna be like that. He's like the hype, you know what I mean? Like he's good everywhere. He went the distance with Steven, and you know, people have a lot of fucking ticks on his name. I'm not gonna take anything away from it, but I can fight just as well.
When you were in the interview before this, leading into this fight, you talked about how I can't remember the exact quote, but it was more or less a short camp actually benefits you because it eliminates the possibility of getting injured. Have you changed how you prepare with those things in mind?
No. No, I haven't. But to be honest, man, I just try to stay ready year round. All year round, I try to stay ready. Therefore, because it is so hard to match me up, sometimes I do get offered, you know, fights on like short notice, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and I just want to be able to step in on them opportunities. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, I would like to probably do, you know, I mean, I've been training for this fight now for a long time, actually since my training partner, Quillen, won the belt on Eternal. I was actually giving him rounds for that, so I've been in camp since then, man. It's been a very long camp, so I'm super surprised that I haven't actually, you know, touch wood, got any injuries and stuff like that. But yeah, ideally like 6 weeks is perfect for me. You know, I've never let myself, even outside of like camp, I never let myself get out of shape. I'm always training regardless year round. I try to just, yeah, I love training, you know, I'm a martial artist, so, you know, I don't train only when I got a fight coming up. I'm always in the gym training with the guys.
And how does this fight with you and Cody go?
I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really get predictions. I just know we're gonna get it fucking cracking. Like, you know, I think fight's just gonna be a banger. I think it's gonna be everywhere. I think it'll be on the feet. I think it'll be on the ground. A little bit of wrestling. He doesn't shy away. He's real aggressive. Counter puncher. So I think it's gonna be a good one. I can't really tell you exactly where he's gonna go.
Just having 3 different opponents in 6 days, like surely at some point it does get frustrating that you have to think of a different game plan.
Hasn't been frustrating because it's worked out well every time, you know. Now this one's for a title, so that's fantastic. And like I said to you the other day, I honestly prepare for all the guys. Even as an amateur, I would look at all the topology rankings, try and find their fights, see what they do well. So yeah, this final one was fantastic. All the rest of it didn't faze me too much, no. But there's always, you know, those regular little fight nerves or whatever it is. But the switch-ups are a good thing for me.
And Abdallah, to you, mate, finally getting the title shot, finally getting your dupes. Not with your ultimate opponent, you did want Khan Offley, but is it as exciting as ever?
Still the same mindset, still the same thing. It's going to be the same result regardless of the opponent. But yeah, I was really looking forward to facing Khan because I've always been watching him, and I knew he was going to be the guy who was going to bring the best out of me. But unfortunately, things happen. The show has to go on, and I'm just glad I got someone else. But it's still going to be the same result.
And your teammate Khan Offley got out with an injury. He was obviously supposed to take on Abdallah Biata. Do you feel like you're almost defending his belt for him?
No, definitely not. Yeah, this is a great fight. Look, it's unfortunate Khan got injured. I spoke to him pretty much straight away. But we're on the same page. This is a great opportunity. We're brothers, so he's happy for me. I get to have a belt. He gets to have a belt. Beautiful.
And who do you think is a tougher fight, Sam Kikembo or Khan Offley?
I don't really care. It doesn't matter.
How do you feel about this being your first title opportunity? I mean, I'm sure it's not exactly how you envisioned it, but kind of what are your thoughts on it all?
Amazing. I've been doing this for almost a decade now, and I've set my intention from the get-go. World champion. It's a high standard, you know. Everyone knows that you can't really muck about, and you need to rise up when it's time to rise up, and that's how you find out what you're made of. So, yeah, amazing, man. Wanted a belt, wanted the title when I was an amateur. I got that amateur title, and I would tell people the strategy, the plan. Now it's taken a lot longer than what it was when I was, I guess, a lot more delusional. But it's here now, so I feel good. It's time. Let's get the belt and then move on to the next phase.
And in your preparation for this fight, I mean, I think you've almost already answered it. Is it just training the way you normally train, or do you train specifically for opponents?
I train the way I train every single opponent, same way that I always do. But I just know I always get the job done.
Talking about that, you captured the HEX title when you were an amateur, and now obviously fighting for it in the pro ranks. What is that relationship with HEX like? Like, evidently, is this do you view this kind of as your home?
I do. HEX is a Melbourne-made show. It was the first professional show I came to. I actually snuck into a HEX show, sorry boys, back in the day. And I saw a bunch of killers fighting. One of them's to my left here, other one's in my gym, Jack Jenkins. And I don't think I'd even had a professional fight yet. And I was like, shit, that's the featherweight division I got to deal with these guys. Fuck, okay. And then I found the amateur show, sent them a message on my own. They said, we got to deal with your coach. So we did that. Long story short, I got a lot of history with HEX and Park the HEX. So yeah, it feels only right. If I had to pick a belt in Australia that I want, it's the HEX belt, 100%.
Leading into the fight, Abdallah, when it first got announced, or even before it was booked, you called for Khan, and you said it just there. You said it before. You believe Khan Offley can bring the best out of you. When you get the call that the fight's off, what kind of is your immediate reaction?
I was disappointed, but things like this happen. Probably was pushing himself too hard, and then just pulled his ACL or something. But yeah, my mindset still, stayed the same. I tried to just always stay the same and just stay to what's called like stay true to myself and stay true to the training and just go in there, whoever it is, get in there and get the job done.
100%.
To now be high up on the card, fighting for a title in front of a sold-out Melbourne Pavilion after sneaking into your first HEX show, what is that like?
It's good, feels right. Still got shit to do. Still gonna have to perform on the night. But it feels good, I'm embracing it, I'm using that. I'm telling myself what I should tell myself. And yeah, let's see, I'm ready to live it out.
And you've been ranked number one for a while. Do you feel like people look past you? Do you feel like you've not gotten the respect that you deserve over the last couple of years?
100%. They're still looking past me. I have no idea why, but I'm the guy who just gets in there and gets it done. What's there to look past? You know what I mean? I'm still getting the job done, right? And I'm putting on the show, and I'm doing everything that I can.
You've spoken in the lead up to this that doesn't necessarily interest you at this stage, Sam. There is another very accomplished featherweight champion on this card. Is he someone you could possibly look at facing down the line, Mr. Justin Van Heerden?
Justin, I'll take any day, anytime, anywhere. Honestly, I know people say that shit all the time, but that's a lovely fight. I think I match up really well with Justin. I'd be down to even grapple with him if he wants to wants to come past the gym and grapple after this, we can do that. But yeah, I feel like that goes real well for me. I think Justin's a much easier fight than Abdullah, to be honest.
And you said that you wanted almost 5 rounds and you wanted violence and you wanted to just beat the shit out of each other. Is that still what you want going in?
100%. He better keep the same energy. He better not step back because I'm here to get out of that cage really sore. If he's willing to, do the same thing because I really trained hard for this and I'm like, it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
For you, Sam, not exactly a question, but just interesting how the world kind of works. Khan won his title stepping in on short notice in the featherweight division. You are now coming in to fight for a title, stepping in on short notice for Khan. I was just kind of wondering what your headspace is regarding that kind of narrative.
Felt good because I know how I felt at the time. There was actually a situation where I was offered, I guess, a fight with Jarrett, but it was turned down. That happens. That's how it goes sometimes. And Khan had that title fight, and it was a beautiful opportunity to talk about these things. One for your brother, what you want for yourself. And it's like, okay, he even said it. Your time's coming. And look at that, full circle, literally full circle. So yeah, I got to do my job. So prepare the mind, prepare the body, and that's all I'm worried about.
When you, the interview you did immediately after finding out about the fallout and the rebooking, you spoke about, you were very adamant that this was not an interim title fight, this was the undisputed title. It now being an interim title fight, is that frustrating at all for you?
No, it's still the same mindset. It doesn't matter to me, man. I just love fighting, to be honest. I just like being in there, doing it, and moving on to the next instead of focusing on the little things that I have no control over. So.
The exact details of Offley's injury aren't fully known, how long he'll be out for. Do you think Khan Offley is what's next for you, or do you not know what the horizon holds?
We'll see what, the future always holds after Friday night, because I'm not really just gonna wait for him and for him to get better. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to move forward, and if he gets better, that's cool. We can run it back. But if he doesn't, I got other plans, man. I gotta move forward.
If you had a choice after Sam, without obviously looking past Sam, but because Khan Offley was the original opponent, if you had a choice between a Khan Offley bout or a Justin Van Heerden bout on HEX, which one are you taking?
I'd rather take Khan. I think he's just he's a better fighter. Way better. That villain, that's what I call him, I don't know. But he's boring to me, what I mean? He's not gonna bring the best out of me. I'll probably relax when I'm fighting him. You know what I mean? I won't be on my edge, I won't be in the survival mode. I think he would just make me relax. So Khan would put me on the edge. That's what I like.
Now, in Brace with Ricky, when you first got here, you guys seem to be quite friendly as well. Competitive, on that competitive outlook on him, is he bigger than you thought, smaller than you thought? Have you been sizing him up?
He was very polite to me, and he realised that I'd just woken up, so he was much of a gentleman, and I was still rubbing the sleet out of my eyes, dude, because I just literally woke up. My friggin' alarm didn't go off. This friggin' AI technology's bullshit. You know, like, man, I set an alarm, it didn't go off. So, man, he was real kind to me. He's like, dude, you know, wake up a bit. You know, I really shook my hand, and I mean, he's a big dude. You know, like, there's no surprises there. You know.
Now, you've been a real ambassador for bare knuckle fighting. How does comparing to main event for the heavyweight title at a sold out Melbourne Pavilion versus getting ready for a bare knuckle fight in someone's backyard, where do the nerves sit?
Oh, it's a lot more nerve wracking just getting up here talking. You know what I mean? I'm not much of a talker. Fighting's always come easy, you know, like Raj was saying earlier. You know, you've always got the nerves, but as soon as you got the first punches, they all go away. You know, it's all instincts from there on out. So, man, there's no difference. It's just like, this is more freaky, you know, getting up and talking. Yeah, I'm very much of an introvert.
Randall, talking about that bare knuckle history, and obviously you've got a passion for it. Before this, you were preparing for a bare knuckle fight that didn't end up happening. How is it to be back in the MMA space, like in your mentality?
Yeah, it's really good. You know, I love mixing it up, and you know, that dirty boxing, and it's just fun, man. Like MMA is just like, you know, it's not work for me, man. It's a real passion. But you know, I do plan on bare knuckle. Like, God forbid, touch wood, nothing happens to me. But yeah, I'll be flying out next weekend to bare knuckle Hunter Sam, and Hunter Sam reached out to me. He's a former cruiserweight and heavyweight Australian champion, and yeah, we became good friends over this whole bare knuckle, you know, thing. And yeah, we're gonna knuckle on next Saturday. So
when you're going into a fight this weekend for a title, knowing that is then coming up, how does that affect your mentality? You kind of split, or is it kind of taking just one fight at a time?
Yeah, it's always one fight at a time. And, you know, people always come up to me and saying, oh, look, you know, what's next? You know, man, I don't really care, man. I'm just happy. I'm like a kid at Christmas time, you know, that, like, I get to do this, do what I love. I get to jump in the cage, you know what I mean? Like, you know, or nerves, injuries aside, like, man, I get to do what I love, you know. So people are like, oh, what's next? You know, getting old. I don't give a fuck, man. I'm just happy to jump in there and do it. So, man, it's just, yeah, it could be like a double Christmas, long Christmas here.
I just want to take it over to Ricky Beecham, mate. Heavyweight title. You just had a look at your opponent, Randall Rackman. You guys just embraced. What's your overall sort of perspective of that? How do you feel? You shook his hand. You felt the aura. Take us through that moment.
Look, it's a bit weird, yeah, but at the end of the day, the fight's just business. You know, Randall seems like a great guy, and you know, after the fight, I'll shake his hand and buy him a beer. But when the cage door's locked, it's all business, and I'm sure he has the same thought process about it.
In a documentary produced by HEX, you talk about a lot of like the hardships you went through early on in your life, and I wanted to ask about when you look at when you think back to that time, and then you see yourself now, HEX heavyweight champion, #1 heavyweight in Australia. Like, what is that do? You know, when you look back, how does that? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's a real credit to perseverance and you know, pushing through and you know, just doing it. Like, you know, I'm sick of this motivational shit. You know, like watch David Goggins, and now, man, David Goggins ain't gonna help me push through a friggin' half an hour run. You know what I mean? You got to be slightly insane. Like, there's, you know what I mean? That's where discipline kicks in. You know, look, I do this weird thing where, before every fight, I'll drive down the street that I grew up in. So I try and draw on all that energy. The old housing commission place that I grew up in. And the last week is all spiritual for me. I'm a big mental guy that way. I don't really need these inspirational videos and all this shit. I just remember all the all the fucked up shit as a kid, and then I just draw on that. So I say, motivations for pussies. Hatred's where it's at. If you can fine tune hatred, man, that's it.
And now you're still training out of resilience. The heavyweights seem to be, the heavyweight state of the heavyweights in Australia MMA seems to be quite thin. Is it hard to get training partners in, especially guys to simulate Randall's fighting style?
It can be difficult to get an accurate representation for preparation, but we work with what we've got, and the guys that we have, they give themselves, give their bodies to me to emulate everything that we need to work on. So I can't thank those guys enough.
And mate, we spoke earlier, and you said that this could potentially be your last ever mixed martial arts fight. Do you have any plan on that, on when you want to call it a day?
Yeah, I mean, it's coming soon. I know, I've come to that term where it was hard to finally get there and said, look, dude, you got to hang it up. Now you're busting hernias, you got your knees done, you detached retina. So look, I've come to the conclusion that this could be it. But you know what? It's one fight at a time. There is no tomorrow. Like Apollo said to Rocky, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. So one fight at a time, baby.
In a documentary produced by HEX, you talk about why you got into fighting, and you talk about an incident where you kind of felt helpless and that led you to fighting. Looking at yourself when you start to now, where you're so high up in the rankings, you're fighting for a title, you're fighting to be the guy at heavyweight. What does that kind of do to look back at yourself? What do you think when you look back on that time?
It's kind of crazy to think about. I honestly, when I started, never thought I would get as far as I've gone. So I'm stoked with that. But yeah, like I said, we're just going to keep going forward with this and get as far as we can.
And Randall, taking that topic to you, coming to the end of your career, as you've put it, how do you mitigate your injuries while still training at the highest level?
It's just being smart with how I'm training. I can't bounce back the way I did when I was 20. So it's just training smarter, having the right training partners. I won't spar with anyone that I'm not familiar with. And just training smart, and just wrapping myself in bubble wrap, really.
And last one for Ricky Beecham. But is there anything about Randall's game that really concerns you? And is there anything in the fight that you're really going to look to try and exploit?
Look, Randall's a tough opponent. He's going to come to bang. We're just going to stick to our game plan and wear him out. Simple.
And not looking past Ricky Beecham, of course, but let's say hypothetically you do take that out. Are there any heavyweights in Australia? It does seem to be quite thin recently, but is there anyone that stands out for you that could be next?
Man, to be honest, I just want to, after this fight, just kick back and smoke some cigarettes, man. I've been hanging for a long time, and you see all these, vapes, fairy floss, and all this shit at the gym. It's irritating. But, it's comforting knowing I walk into the gym and I see Suman there. Suman's at the front of the gym just sucking on a cigarette, man. And I look at him and I'm like, dang, I want to take some time to smoke a pack of cigarettes, man. So, yeah, we'll contemplate from there. We'll go from there. But the main thing is I want some cigarettes.
Just kind of you, from this fight, let's say hypothetically, where I know Randall's in the room, but let's say hypothetically you win. Where to next? Do you want to get back in there as quick as possible? Do you want to take some time off?
After the fight, I'm going to take a bit of time off just to let my body recover from the training camp. But then from there, we'll go forward and cross that bridge when we come to it.
can we see a bigger venue in the future? Because you guys just seem to be going from strength to strength when it comes to every event you guys put on. It gets bigger and better. We're just wondering, the main sold it out to people want tickets to the event. Will we ever get to a bigger venue?
Yeah, good question, Mitch. We've got a special announcement coming on Friday night. So if you are in the venue, you hear that. If you're not, you can stream the fights live via our website, and we'll be posting it on social media. But we've got some big news coming on Friday night.
And speaking of big news, before I get to the fighters that are currently up there, you signed a crazy grappling match between another champion of another organisation who's coming on over, Justin Van Hidden, taking on George Soteropoulos, the UFC veteran. First of all, is it easier to get grappling matches signed than it is MMA bouts, and how happy are you to get those two competing?
Yeah, look, with contracts and that, it's definitely easier to get a grappling match over the line, and yeah, we're honoured to have both of those guys competing. You know, George is a veteran and wants to stay active, and Justin's fought on HEX before, so it's great to have him back.
Jacob, just a quick one for you. Is there an expectation on Sem if he wins the interim belt, the official title holder is Khan Oxley? I mean, surely, what do you actually have to do? It's a genuine question. Like, what do you expect to happen?
Look, as a fan and as a promoter, I'd absolutely love to see those two fight. I've seen them spar together in the gym countless times, so it's a fight I'd love to see, and I guess that's just a bridge that we'll have to cross when we come to it.
And last one for Jacob. A lot of interim belts. Is this a thing that we're going to see?
These situations come up, and we've just got to kind of play the hands we're dealt. There's still incredible fights. These guys still get an opportunity to take home the HEX belt, so I don't think there's anything bad about an interim title fight.
Last one for me as well. I just wanted to ask Jacob, HEX, basically, what do you think of where HEX is at the moment? I feel like you guys have put on a really good run of shows in the past, and now talked about it before, 28 coming up. Where do you think HEX is sitting right now?
It's sitting at the top, and it's on an astronomical growth. We're just going to keep growing. As I mentioned, we've got a special announcement on Friday night for everyone. We're just going to keep doing our thing, putting on the best fights in the country, getting the best fighters around the country, and yeah, we'll see where we can go next year and beyond.
When you put together such really well put together shows, and I'm not saying that just to be nice,
Thanks.
is there almost, you look at the card and then you go like, oh my God, what are we going to do next?
I don't think so. I think there's so many high-level fighters out there in Australia right now. We're pretty blessed to continue rotating and putting on these good fights and building up these guys on the undercard. You know, we've got like a Michael Manu who, after a couple of wins, could be the next big thing. So we're just going to keep building up these guys from the amateur ranks up to the top of the professional ranks and putting on the best fights that we can.